In this locality on February 24th, 1861, occurred the mass meeting as result of which Franklin County seceded from the state of Tennessee, at the same time petitioning the then Confederate state of Alabama to annex it, and the secession of Tennessee, June 24th, 1861, rendered further action needless. So basically, Franklin County was saying, you know, Tennessee, y'all taking too long to secede, so we gonna take it matters upon ourselves to secede from the state. This is Winchester, Tennessee. Let's go. P9 coming at you guys with yet another vlog, and I am in the small city of Winchester, Tennessee. So we're gonna walk around Winchester to get vibes and history and all that good stuff. So let's get into it, shall we? Winchester, Tennessee is a city that's located in Franklin County. It is the seat of Franklin County with a population of 9,375 residents as of the 2020 census. So that's a 10% increase from the 2010 census. So slight growth within Winchester, right over here by the Franklin County Courthouse on the Courthouse Square, downtown Winchester. As you can see, the many classical buildings, the old Bank of Winchester right there on the corner, coupled with a few local shops, nail salon. We're gonna get over there in just a minute, but we're starting off right here around the Courthouse Square, around the Franklin County Courthouse. Here is a marker that was erected by General James Winchester, chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. These are the Revolutionary War soldiers who died that were from Franklin County. There's a list of them right here. And by the way, Winchester is named for James Winchester, who was a soldier in the American Revolution. And he was the first speaker of the Tennessee legislature after Tennessee was incorporated as a state. He was also Brigadier General of the War of 1812. So James Winchester never actually lived in Winchester, Tennessee, but he is the namesake of the city. And there's some statues right there in front of the courthouse. We're gonna get a closer look at those statues. See who they're honoring. There goes Sergeant David Alexander Stevens of the U.S. Army, 2nd Battalion Parachute Infantry. Salute to him. This is Private First Class Nathan Bradley Clemens from the U.S. Marine Corps. Salute to him. 2nd Battalion Command, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And you have Lance Corporal Gregory Allen Posey of the United States Marine Corps, the 2nd Command of 8th Marines, and from the Golf Company of Camp Lejeune. So yeah, pretty cool, huh? Yeah, really nice, really nice. Salute to those soldiers. Yeah. gonna go ahead and cross over here. You have Lynch, and Lynch attorneys at law. And this is actually in a building that was built in the 1870s. The Smile Billiard and Drinking Saloon was on this site. In the 1860s, Frank Earl Miller, a black barber, was proprietor of the Solid Comfort Shaving Parlor from the 1880s to 1898. He also played with the Winchester's quite popular Miller Orchestra. Martin's Drugstore in various locations was on the square for 75 years, and it was in this building from 1932 to 1971. So this was a billiards and drinking saloon right here in this very building. And this is Philo's Tavern right here. Philo's Tavern used to also be a men's store back in the late 19th century and early 20th century. So it was a men's store, and it was also a grocery store that was in this building between 1934 and the 1960s. And it was also an appliance shop called Scarborough's, and this would help bring Winchester into modern times. Harry Ray's and S.J. Grant's furniture stores were followed by Stinson's diamond jewelry and gift shop. So a lot of history within this building. And this was also the site of apothecary and drug stores on this corner from the 1820s to the 1900s, with doctors T.C. Morrell, J.W. Grissert, and J.C. Shopper's offices upstairs during the 1800s. So there was also a grocery store and a bakery in this corner, which brings us to the historic Oldham Theater. The historic Oldham Theater was built in 1950. It's the town right here on the town square. It's the Oldham Theater. It's an Art Deco style architecture built in 1950. And you have the marquee that displays the upcoming film screenings. So you have the Mummy and Mario Galaxy. So it does still show like first run movies in this theater. They have screenings and whatnot. So that's pretty cool that they have a theater right downtown, the old school type theater that shows first run movies. It's really dope. And they have the Saturday and Sunday matinees at $7, $6 admission. You have the movie posters. You have the Mummy, April 17th. They're also going to screen the Michael Jackson movie. Jafar Jackson, Jermaine Jackson's son, is portraying Michael Jackson. That's coming April 24th. And of course, on April the 1st was Mario Galaxy. Here's the poster. Princess Peach, Mario, of course, Luigi, Yoshi, Bowser. All my Mario fans, y'all know what's up. So that's really dope that they have that right here. First run movie theater, but it's a classical theater. Some more movie posters over there as well on the side. And this is a historical building right here for lease for restaurant space. So this building is vacant, but it's for lease for restaurant space. But the building itself was built in 1912. It was the first house on the square built here for the Russey family about 1810. And it was followed in 1830 by the Ballard House, the first of several hotels and taverns. And in 1857, a reception was held at this hotel for local attorney W.E. Venable, U.S. Minister to Guatemala. And the present building, constructed by the Presbyterian Church, was bought in 1945 for use by City Hall and Franklin County Library, and sold in 1954 for the use for a lodge. But this building right here was, again, the first house on the square, and it is vacant, open for they're leasing it out for restaurant space. So it'll be one of those really nice fancy restaurants, I suppose, that would lease it. If you go further down this way, you'll be going heading northbound on US Highway 41A and heading eastbound on Tennessee Highway 50. Brings us to the other side of the court square. And this was the Bell Tavern. This was built back in 1916.
I work in freaking fast food and I can't even order my own stuff.
A lake store. Wagner cabinet makers. Built in 1890, Wagner cabinet makers, like several Winchester furniture markets, also sold coffins, operated a hearse service, and this building was constructed by Frederick Wagner Sr. and used by his sons as a furniture store. And it also became a plumbing shop and a barber shop. Right now you have a Thai food restaurant right here, a photographer studio, Amy Herring Photography. There's an attorney at law, McBee and Ford. This used to be a post office built in 1889, but in 1892 the post office had formerly operated from local postmaster's home or business, and it moved into this specifically designated storefront. And from 1905 to 1945 it housed City Hall, City Jail, and the fire department, followed by law offices. And from 1915 to 1964, a large windowed bay on the upper level, supported on poles, extended to the sidewalk, and it gave a panoramic view of the square to lawyers upstairs. But it eventually burned down. And this building right here, also built in 1889, was the Knights of Pythias Osceola Lounge. So it was one of those lounges. It also had it used to also host a garage, automotive garage, and it hosted a barbershop as well called Philpotts. So this particular corner right here is very legendary. We're about to find out in just a few minutes. One of the city's earliest saloons operated from a log cabin on this lot. And this brick building was erected by Smith Morgan Alexander for the First Home Bank, which occupied the corner section until 1902. So this was basically an insurance firm. It operated in insurance firms right here in this building. Now, this building was built in the 1880s, but let me go ahead and get the side of this. It has the Chero Cola Bottling Company. So Chero operated a bottling company out of here back in the late 19th century into the early 20th century. But this corner right here is very legendary because a tightrope walker performed on a wire stretched between the corner building and the old courthouse cupola. Dr. Robert Knox gave his name to this building when he purchased it in 1906. H.C. Swartz photographic studio was upstairs, along with some doctor's offices, and the Chero Cola Bottling Works was downstairs, followed by a variety of other businesses. Bob Winton established an auction and realty company in the corner office. Yeah, so again, this building was used for several purposes throughout its history. As you can see, it has the Knox building in name of Dr. Robert Knox. But there goes the cupola right there. There goes the cupola where the tightrope took place. Now, I thought at first this line right here that you guys could see I thought that this was the tightrope that was used, and they were just maintaining it for historical purposes. But apparently the tightrope went from this building all the way to the cupola of the county courthouse. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Tight roping, even in the late 19th century. This is the Winton Auction and Realty. Monroe Boutique. And on this lot, Ralph Crabb built some of the city's earliest buildings, where he operated a hotel and tavern from 1811 to 1831. And even during the occupation of Winchester during the Civil War, F.A. Loftmiller, owner of this building, traveled to Charleston with $20,000 to purchase necessities for the citizens of Franklin County. Between 1881 and 1920, T.J. Jackson and his family ran a popular dry goods store and shoe store here in this very building. So that's pretty cool. And Mrs. Emma Brazelton's millinery shop was here in the 1890s. So was Winchester's movie theater. The Dixie and the Rivoli followed from about 1911 to 1952. Admission was 10 cents and 20 cents. Mabra Coleman, one of the three blind brothers, provided organ music for silent movies. The first talking movie was shown in 1930. So apparently it was a theater operated out of this building back in the day too. Back during that time. So it wasn't just the Oldham theater that was on this square. Well, the Oldham theater was actually 1950. So they came after the silent movie theater over here. But right now it hosts a arcade. So it's called the Good Game Arcade. It's closed right now, still early in the morning. But this used to be, where this Bar 5 Fitness is, used to be a ice cream parlor. The three McDowell brothers established a cafe here and later an ice cream parlor, which quickly became the social center of Winchester. Various cafes followed McDowell's until Southside Pool Room opened, and from the 50s to 1978 provided a gathering spot for men while the ladies shopped in town. So y'all hear that? The fellows would gather, play some pool, and women, you know, they go shop. You know how that go. This building was erected by Mrs. Mattie Fuller and her son Olar, as you can see right here. Miss Mattie Fuller and Olar. It was a clothing store. Burglars exchanged 2 pairs of stolen shoes taken weeks earlier from other pairs half size larger. And in 1955, Hammer's department store's first Winchester location opened in this building. So what's now occupied by Mesh was Hammer's department store. Apparently they had a chain of department stores back then, back in the 50s. Creations, Second Base, screen printing and embroidery. So they do have a lot of historical markers, a lot of history associated with these buildings right here in Winchester. And this was just basically where the Union Army occupied. They occupied this building back in the during the Civil War. And, yeah. Franklin County. So they got the banners for the Franklin County high school graduates. Oh, what? By the way, the place that I just passed by is called Steel Magnolia's Boutique. First United Methodist Church right there. Rick B. Courtney, MD, General Dentistry Practice. Go ahead and cross right here. Franklin County Police and Fire Memorial. So this is just some markers commemorating Lieutenant Wilbur Cannell Winchester of the Winchester Fire Department and EMT Tracy D. Floyd of the Winchester Fire Department. And this one commemorates Chief John E. Penny of the Deckard Police Department and the Sergeant Daniel Smith and Michael K. Buckner of Deckard Police Department and Charles Jerry Crabtree of the FC Sheriff's Office, which is the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. So this is in honor of those who served, the first responders, courage, valor, and dedication. And this was designed by the city administrator, Jimmy Crownover, Franklin County Police and Fire Committee. And these are all the individuals, the fire departments and sheriff's departments associated. This is City Hall of Winchester. As you can see, they got the 5 columns right there in front of the brick building, Brick City Hall, which was built in 1914. Between the 1850s and 1911, a livery stable and stoneworks occupied the north end of this site, with the John Custer family home on the south corner. But the President building was constructed for the U.S. Post Office and various government offices. And after the city of Winchester purchased the building in 1967, a new city and fire hall and police department was constructed at the rear. And in 1969, Winchester City Hall moved here in 1970. So the City Hall has been occupying this building since 1970. However, the building itself was built in 1911. So we're approaching First Avenue. Here's a historical marker that talks about Winchester, the county before the state, and it just basically talks about Tennessee failing to secede from the Union early in 1861, and then the local residents meeting trying to get Winchester and Franklin County to succeed by itself. And here's a map of Winchester right here with the courthouse, a diagram of the courthouse, courtesy of Frank Luigi. It was a Franklin courthouse by Gustavus A. Percy. And here are Peter Turney and Albert Smith's marks, part of the cavalry and that took place, or the cavalry that participated in the Civil War. So basically, there goes Mary Sharp College as well, courtesy of the Library of Congress. So basically, this area, there was a lot that was going on during Tennessee's, specifically Franklin County's attempt to succeed and form the Confederate States of America, aka the CSA. And it comes across from this Jefferson's Wings, Bars, and Oysters restaurant. Go ahead and cross right here. And this building right over here, this corner used to be the Miller and Buckhalter butcher shop, and it was followed by the grocery stores of S.E. Carter and Grant And it was also a popular cafe that was operated by Ma Ward. So yeah, various businesses operated over here at this corner. And in the third week of May, they're actually going to have a barbecue carnival. Might come check that out. That's the third week in May. That'll be dope. They have, it's called the High on the Hog Festival. Might come check that out. Y'all may possibly see a vlog from that event if I'm in attendance. Again, this goes more of these banners with high school seniors from Franklin County High. Southern Sugar Saloon. This was built in 1906 and labeled the Embry block for its builder, T.A. Embry. The stamped metal facade around the upper story reflects the Victorian era of commercial architecture. The law office of Embry and Stewart was upstairs in 1917, with Taylor's Hardware downstairs in the 1920s. And back then, there was a bunch of popular 5 and 10 cent stores that occupied this spot. 1938 to 1982. So yeah, they literally used to have a 5 cent and 10 cent store. Today we have the dollar stores, but they had 5 and 10 cent stores. And there goes the Victorian style architecture at the top, Embry block, as mentioned on the marker. There's a bunch of vintage audio equipment, record players, multi-recorder tracks. That's pretty cool. So is this like a stereo? I mean a studio? Undeveloped lot was here until T.A. Embry constructed this building, which housed a grocery store in 1913 and became the location of Paplanis department store, established by Samuel Paplanis and his son Isidore. After this popular dry goods store was sold to the Woodbine store chain in 1954, pop singer Brenda Lee came here for the grand opening of the store. So yeah, this is a now occupied what looks like by a record shop, possibly. Hey look, loft store. Harry Templeton Sr. constructed this building, occupied by the offices of doctors and other professionals throughout the 1920s. Later, this building variously housed drugstores, furniture stores, men's shops, and offices from 1955 to 1987. So fashionable women shop for clothing at ladies' shops here, the first being Caroline's of Winchester. So a lot of history right here. Excuse me. As you can see, now it's a self-defense training shop right here. So it's a sensei in essence. And this was the first site of the Farmers Bank and Trust Company, originally built as an office for Dr. T.B. Anderton. And it was also a jeweler and a bunch of diamond brokers who also operated out this building throughout its history. So you have a design studio right here and a salon. Walnut Hill Coffee Company. So you have a coffee company right here. A tavern site since the 1820s. The Mountain House Hotel and Tavern housed guests here from 1856 to the 1880s. And this sandstone building, erected for the Second Home Bank, was originally topped by a distinctive turret, removed in 1959 while Prince Drugstore was here. The 2 storerooms beside the corner were the earliest locations of S.A. Shore, Norton's Jewelry, and Piggly Wiggly in a Kroger grocery store. Church's barbershop occupied the basement from 1911 to 1955, and the Girl Scouts met upstairs. So apparently this used to be a hotel and a tavern, and it does kind of give that type of vibe based on the architecture. So, but yeah, that's continue going this way to wrap up the downtown walk. I got Tupac Ambitious as a rider playing in the background. All Eyes on Me album. All my Pac fans, y'all know. I'm gonna come down this way because there's a couple of murals that I saw that I want to capture. Look at this mural right here. Let me see, who is that? It's a nice mural though. So they have a Tennessee, couple coaches, football coaches, it looks like. I'm not sure who that is. But let me go ahead and cross over here. And this building right here used to be a cobbler shop, and the Winchester Fire Department also used to operate out this building. And it was back in the 40s, it was a hardware company and lumber shed. So many functions that building has had. Now this really nice artwork is by Karen S. Engel, as you can see right here, 2020. Karen S. Engel with this beautiful mural. It's like a young lady standing next to her really nice ride right here. Looks like an Oldsmobile, pink Oldsmobile. And it has the roses right here. It's really nice, painting right over here. It's some more artwork for Karen Engel. It says I love Winchester, as you can see right there. It just illustrates how Winchester was back during the vintage times. You have the microphone right there, symbolizes Tennessee's musical history, especially as it pertains to rock and roll, country music, things like that. What's that say? They read the good book from Friday till Monday. I've got a dream house I'll build there one day with the picket fence. That's the way how the world goes. Ramblin' Rose. There's a place I'd like to be, and it's back in Tennessee. Okay, so there's a place I'd like to be and it's back in Tennessee. Okay, where your friendly neighbor shall smile and say hello. Really nice. Dear Hearts and Gentle People by Dina Shore. Shout out to Dina Shore. So these are like very historical quotes. Looks like from different songs. And this mural is by Emily May Ragland. Shout out to Emily May Ragland and Karen Shingle for this beautiful artwork down this alley. And it happens to be right behind the Philo's Tavern, which we saw earlier. And this is a painting of a performer at the Grand Ole Opry. Grand Ole Opry, of course, famous for being a major country music performance venue. in Nashville, Tennessee. So that's really nice. It says at Hunter Girls Music. So this is Emily Ragland, another one of Emily May Ragland's artwork. Shout out to Emily May Ragland once again. This is a beautiful art piece painted on the side of this historical building. So it definitely illustrates Tennessee's history with country music. And here's a marker on the Tennessee music pathways for Mike Farris, who was very versatile when it came to genres of music. He recorded rock, blues, soul, and gospel, and brought a current sensibility to traditional Southern music. Honored at the 2008 Americana Music Awards. He was born in Winchester, November 30th, 1968, but grew up in several Franklin County locales. And he once lived in Deckard, and he was living in Nashville in 1991 at the time when he started a band with guitarist Rick Wright, and their name Screaming Cheetah Willies was adapted from a Gary Larson cartoon. So his first self-titled album, Mike Farris, was released in 1994 after he signed with Atlantic Records, and it was a success. It was a success, and he performed in a tour along with other established bands such as the Allman Brothers Band, the Dave Matthews Band, Sheryl Crow, and there goes Mike Farris with his Grammy for Shine for All the People in 2015. So he won a Grammy in 2015. So very accomplished artist, musician. I gotta check him out. I gotta check check out his music. I don't think I've ever heard a Mike Farris recording, but I will check his music out. Every time I come to a lot of these places and discover artists, historical artists who are tied to certain locations I've never heard of or heard music, I always make sure I check them out. But yeah, that concludes downtown Winchester. It's one more place I'm gonna check out, so stay tuned. I'm here at Tims Ford State Park here in Tennessee, not too far from Winchester, the downtown area at least. And we're gonna take a walk through some parts of the state park and give you some glimpses of what it's like. So let's get into it. Right here, you have the visitor center for the state park. Again, it's called Tims Ford. So that's the visitor center and gift shop right there, where you can go get souvenirs and whatnot. Excuse me. And there's a few trails that go to the lake, which is Tims Ford Lake. It's the Travis Hollow Bridge right here. And you also have a trail. It's called Lost Creek Overlook Trail. It's about almost 1.5 miles of length. Walking across this here bridge right here at Tim's Ford Lake State Park. Got a little bit of drone footage for you guys, but just wanted to capture this moment of me walking across this bridge over this river, over the lake. It's a really beautiful day to hear nature, to hear the birds chirping and everything like that. Very peaceful. Danger. No diving, jumping, or fishing from bridge. It's a misdemeanor if you violate. Man, who would want to fish from a bridge? Who would want to fish from this high up anyway? Go somewhere a little bit flat, on flat surface land. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's a beautiful day to go hiking, outdoors, all that good stuff. So, you know, here at Tim's Ford State Park, Tim Ford's Lake State Park. It's a really nice and relaxing day. So I want to get some aerial footage as well as me walking. So there you have it. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to this vlog. If you made it this far, make sure you tap the like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell. And once you hit that bell, make sure you select all. That way you get notified each and every time I drop a new vlog. And with that in mind, good people, thanks for watching this vlog. And see you guys on the next one. Peace.